In the previous video of the B2B vendor app, we saw the overview of the mobile application itself. So today we'll be showing you the backend configuration of the B2B system in the admin panel itself, how the admin can set up the B2B configuration there by logging into the admin backend panel. And in the next video, we'll be showing you the backend configuration for the Webkul mobile app as well, the initial configurations that are required before making use of the Magento to B2B vendor app there. So let's hop on to the admin backend panel and let's see what different configuration settings are there for the B2B system there. And before we proceed further, please do subscribe to our channel and press the bell icon to receive the latest updates from our end. And if you find this particular video helpful, then do kindly give it a thumbs up. So now let's hop on to the admin backend panel. So right now you can see that I've logged into the admin backend panel, and to make the configuration settings, I'll have to navigate through stores and then configuration. Now on the configuration page under the Webkul block on the left hand side, we have two different configuration settings. One is for the Webkul and one is for the B2B configuration. So we'll have to go to the B2B configuration first, and this will be covered up in today's video, and the Webkul would be taken care of in the second video there. So let's tap here on the B2B configuration, and this would bring up the complete configuration settings for the B2B system itself. So here you can see that we have the general settings, supplier dashboard layout settings, seller flags, supplier product settings, product flags, supplier order settings, inventory settings, supplier profile page settings, supplier review landing page, seller layered navigation, seller's sitemap settings, marketplace product page field hints, and the marketplace transactional emails. So we'll be going through each of them one by one. So let's first go to the general settings and let's see what different options are under the general settings there itself. Before we proceed, kindly do note that to develop the B2B Marketplace mobile app, you need to have the Webkul Magento 2 B2B Marketplace extension first. So you must have the B2B Marketplace extension first, and then only you will be able to develop the B2B Marketplace mobile app there. So now coming to the configuration settings here, and the very first option that we can see here is the general settings. And in the B2B configuration on the general settings, you can set up the admin email address. As you can see, the name of the admin, it would be used in the marketplace transactional emails. Then we have the admin email. You can set the email that would be used in the email templates and the other places where the admin name is required. You can set up the global commission rate, and it should be an integer value. You can set the supplier manage order, whether you want to allow the suppliers to manage their orders under their own account panel. If you choose a yes, then the suppliers would be able to manage their orders. Otherwise, if you choose it as a no, then the suppliers won't be able to manage their orders under their own account panel. Then we have the move product tags to the supplier account. So here you will be able to move the product tags to the supplier account if chosen as yes. Otherwise, choose no to not move the product tags to the supplier account there. Then we have the supplier approval required, whether you want to have this functionality wherein you'll be able to approve the supplier first, and then he'll be able to proceed further. So if you choose it as a yes, then the supplier approval is required. So the admin needs to approve the supplier from the backend panel, and only then would he be enabled there. Otherwise, you can choose this option as a no to automatically approve the sellers there. Then you have the set captcha enabled, so you can enable the captcha as well by choosing a yes option there. So that would the general settings. Now coming to the supplier dashboard settings. So here the admin can set up the supplier dashboard logo image that would be visible on the dashboard of the supplier there. And here you can choose that particular file, and you can also delete a file that you've already uploaded by tapping here on the delete image and then saving the configuration first, and then you can upload a new file as well. So this was about the supplier dashboard logo image. Now coming to the seller flags, here you can see that we can enable the seller flags by choosing a yes option. You can set up the text that is visible for the flags there. So I set it as report seller. or you can also enable the guests to flag the seller if you choose it as a yes option here. Otherwise, you can disable the guests to flag the seller there. uh, Whether you want to have the reasons and whether it should be required or not, so you can choose it as a yes. And you can also accept other reasons as well. You can choose a yes for that. And you can set up the field placeholder for the other reasons there. So you can set the name for the other fields placeholder there. So this was about the seller flags. Coming to the supplier product settings here, uh, here you can see that the admin can set up the attribute set IDs that would be available to the supplier's product settings. So here you can see that only two have been assigned, or only two attribute set IDs have been assigned to the suppliers there. So they'll only be able to create the products using the default or the clothes attribute set. So according to your requirement, you can set the different attribute set IDs. You can enable them up. Then we have the product approval required, whether the product approval is required by the admin first. So in this case, if you choose it as a yes, then the product approval is first required by the admin. Otherwise, you can choose a no to automatically approve the supplier's product. Then we have the product update approval required. So if a seller or if the supplier is updating a product under his own account panel, so after the update, whether you want to have it automatically enabled there, or you want that the product update approval is required. So to enable the product update approval required, you will have to choose a yes. Otherwise, you can choose a no for that. Then we have the allow category tree view, like admin product category tree. So you can enable this functionality just like the admin has a product category tree that comes down, and we can select the category there. You can choose a yes for that, and this will be available to the supplier under his own account panel while creating the product there. You can also set up the allowed categories for the suppliers to add products. You can enter multiple category names separated by a comma there. You can choose the product type for the sellers, whether you want to have these suppliers add a simple or a downloadable, or a downloadable or a virtual. So depending upon your requirement, you can enable the different product types that would be available to the marketplace suppliers there to add their products. Then now we have the allow suppliers to add products with SKU type, whether you want to have it as a static one or a dynamic one. So if you want to have it as a dynamic one, then you can add the product SKU prefix, and that would be added in the first to that particular SKU there. Then we have the allow supplier to add related products, so you can choose it as a yes or a no. You can also allow the suppliers to add upsell products, so you can choose a yes or a no for that as well. You have the option to allow suppliers to add cross-sell products, allow suppliers to add limit on product purchase for the customer, and here you can set the allowed product quantity on purchase for customers. So for example, if you have set it as 10, then the customer will be allowed to add a maximum of 10 quantities of the products in the cart itself. Otherwise, if you choose it as a no, then they can add unlimited number of products to the cart, or the unlimited number of quantities for that particular product. So you can set a limit by choosing a yes and setting up the allowed product quantity on the product purchase for the customer there. So this was about the seller product settings. Coming to the product flags, here you can set up the product flags as well by choosing a yes option. You can set the text that would be visible there to the customers as report product. Whether guests can flag, you can choose a yes or a no for that. Whether the reasons are required or not, you can choose it as a yes required or no. Whether you want to accept other reasons as well, if you don't want to accept other reasons there, you can choose it as a no. Otherwise, yes. Then you can set up the other fields placeholder text here. And then comes the supplier order settings. So for the supplier order settings, you can set this option, that's the order approval required, as a yes or a no. So if you select yes for the admin approval, then when a new order is received for the supplier, then the order approval is required by the admin, so that after the approval of the admin, the order becomes visible to the supplier. Otherwise, you can select this option as a no for auto approval there. Then we have the inventory settings. So here you can set up the enable load notification. So if you want to set the enable load notification, you can choose it as a yes, and then what it does is that it allows to send low stock notification mails to the suppliers for their low stock uh, products there. And you can set up the low stock quantity for the products when this low notification should be triggered. So you can set that particular quantity here for the products. Then coming to the seller profile page settings. Here seller information display card can be chosen as type 1 or type 2 and is visible on the product page itself. Then we have the supplier policies enabled at front end. So whether you want to enable the seller policies at the front end, you can choose a yes for that, otherwise choose a no for that. Then we have the rewrite suppliers shop URL. So you can choose a yes or a no for that. And if you choose a yes, then you will be able to allow the suppliers to manage the shop URL by their own end. Then you have the allow the automatic create supplier public URL on the supplier registration. So you can choose a yes to enable the supplier to set their shop URL at the time of registration there. Otherwise, you can choose it as a no there. You can also choose to allow to show the featured sellers on the front end there. So you can choose a yes for that. Then after this supplier profile page settings, we have the supplier review settings. So here you can set up the make a review on only order purchases. So if you choose it as a yes, then the authorized or the customers who have just placed the order for that particular product would be able to review for the supplier there. So here you can enable the make a review on only order purchase option as yes. Then we have the landing page settings. So here you can set up the marketplace landing page layout from 3 different layouts that we have, and whichever layout you will be selected here will be seen at the storefront. Then we have the marketplace landing page header title. So here you can set up the header title as well. You can choose to enable the banner. You can set up the banner image. You can set up the banner content. You can also choose the marketplace landing page labels that are visible there on the marketplace landing page within the mobile app itself. So for that, you can set up the landing page for the label 1, label 2, label 3, label 4, and you can also use the icons for the labels there. So here you can see that we have the feature icons, feature 1, feature 2, feature 3, and similarly you can set up the feature icon labels there for 4 different features there. You can also set up the about marketplace content there. You can also set up the marketplace supplier list page top label and the marketplace supplier list page bottom label as well. Then coming to the seller layered navigation, here you can display the seller filter in the layered navigation by choosing a yes. Otherwise, you can choose it as a no to not display the seller filter in the layered navigation. Then you can choose to display the name for the admin in layered navigation, and whatever name that you have entered here will be used for the admin's product in the layered navigation there. Then coming to the seller sitemap, here you can see that so here you can set up the allow whether to allow the seller's URL in the sitemap. So you can choose a yes or a no for that. You can allow the seller's profile URL in the sitemap. You can also set up the seller's profile URL frequency in the sitemap. You can set up the seller's profile URL priority in the sitemap, and the values can range from 0.0 to 1.0. You can also set up the allow seller's collection URL in the sitemap. Similarly, you can set the seller's collection URL frequency in the sitemap, whether it should be always, hourly, daily, weekly, month, or yearly, or never. Then you have the seller's collection URL priority in the sitemap. So that was about the seller's sitemap settings that we have set up. Then we have the marketplace product page field hints. So here you can enable the product hints by choosing yes, and this would enable the product page field hints for the supplier pages. Herein the admin can provide the field hints for the product category, product name, product description, product short description, product SKU, product price, product special price, start date, special price, end date, the product quantity, stock availability, product text types, product weight, image, and the product enable options. So you can set up the various marketplace product page field hints as well, and those will be visible to the customers at the storefront. And lastly, we have the marketplace transactional emails. So there are different types of email notifications that are sent to the admin, customer, and the supplier. So this the admin can select the email templates from the marketplace transaction email section as per as per his or her own requirement there. So you can see a multiple number of transaction emails are there for the supplier approved template, supplier request template, supplier unsubscribe templates, seller state processing template, supplier denied by admin template, product denied by admin template, product approval request to admin, and much more. So that was the configuration section for the B2B marketplace there from the admin backend panel. And I've just given you an overview of what different options are there. And for more details on how to use these options or the sections there, how to configure them, you can check the user guide that I've attached within the description of this particular video there. Now in the second video, I'll be showing you the configuration of the Webkul and what different configuration settings are there. So that was much about today's video tutorial, and I hope it helped you out in understanding the flow. If you still have any questions, queries, suggestions, or requirements, then you can anytime get back to us at support@webkul.com. You can raise a ticket at webkul@uvidis.com. Apart from that, if you find this video helpful, then do kindly give it a thumbs up. And lastly, thanks for watching this particular video, and have a great day.